Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Uh, if you like what I'm about to say, please press the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to. I wrote something over the past few days. It took a while. I was thinking about something, and basically, it's about a better way to uh, power a car. And I wrote something, and it's called Spring Beauties. I hope you find it interesting. So it starts off, Spring Beauties. Allow me to tell you about two spring beauties. I also call them her, she, baby, dear, and other complimentary terms. I was thinking we have gas, electric, hybrids, we're working on hydrogen cars. What else could we have? At first I was thinking nuclear, but that, I think, is not very feasible. So I kept thinking, and eventually I thought of springs and the use of floating weights to tighten them overnight. Springs like a Timex watch, but bigger and stronger. I noticed as I thought about exactly how it would work that it would have a lot in common with my wife. They each have some of the same things in common. For example, they have a home, leverage, springs, power, beauty, floats, brakes, romance, weight, tension, and a gearbox. All are my concept car and my wife. Basically, it's a hybrid car with springs. So, like I said, my wife has a home. The car would have its home, a carport. The car and wife have leverage because the car comes with a carport with leverage gear that spins and charges loaded springs in the car's motor compartment. My wife's face is leverage. If she looks sad or mad, alternative action is definitely required. The leverage gear is a large circle with arms that pivot from the outer edges and attach to the car's charging attachment. The car might be getting a little confused now, but my wife can be confusing. Sometimes she asks me to do something like she already asked me. She thought it but didn't say it. That's confusing. The arm, the arms attached to the front and rear circular charging attachment by sliding over pins on it. The arms are like my wife's cell phone. They reach out and levy me home. You might think the car will just flip. The carport has stanchions to hold the spring compartment while tightening. You might see me around town, arm in arm with my wife. She is my stanchion. It might look like I'm there to support her in her heels, but really, in my mind, she holds me. The car has springs for the power, and it charges a battery that in turn powers an electric motor. My wife springs chores on me, a to-do list for me, like picking up dog poo when it's snowing. The car keeps up bits of road, tires, and snow. So, a lot of similarities here. Springs provide power for the car, and my wife has a lot of power. She has power over me, or I won't be happy. The car has power, and my wife has power. I try to pay attention to my wife. That is the aspect of power she has over me, because I don't usually want to hear about what she got on sale. But I will listen, or I won't get lucky. After all, I might want to talk about passing the gas station when she is stuck at home. She probably doesn't care to hear I was out and about all day and she was stuck at home. So we have empathy for one another. The springs have housing, so they look like tires. My wife's housing is the restraint she has over the power. If I snap, she quietly stays around. She supports me and keeps me from doing damage. Some people might want to skip to the carport and have their springs charged at a station, like the Rhino grill tanks. A robot could drop a bunch of new springs under the hood. Wires are not supposed to be interchangeable, but 50% might be switched. I imagine they could have a pretty efficient way of tightening springs at the station, but the similarity stops there. Divorce attorneys are expensive. I imagine them lifting them up and replacing them is on the mind, but I would hate to lose my wife or that car. She's beautiful just like the car because she saves me money. She is very frugal and she gets everything on sale. The car saves money by using buoyancy power and springs. She is beautiful because of her shape, too. Just like my car, I imagine a beautiful shape. She has tanks, but boobs are not what will blow your mind away. She will blow your mind away with what she says. The tanks have floating weights in them. My wife will float my boat at times with compliments. The compliments give me the power to accomplish great things. The car has floats that are also weights that float to the ceiling height and latch onto cables that turn or tighten the springs. All this happens in the carport, which comes with the car. The carport is the romance between the carport and the car. Just like my wife and I, it takes a while to romance each other. The car can be tightened overnight. The carport and car have brakes, just like my wife. If my wife doesn't like what she sees, she will put on the brakes. By saying stop or screaming out, the brakes hold the power of the falling weights to allow the cables and pulleys to latch on. The brakes on the springs in the car hold the power of the constant torque spring. My wife is latched on. She latched on the TV remote a long time ago. My wife and car have tension in the springs, and the tension is a constant torque the car has. For example, when changing a tire, she politely and simply stands behind me and I just try to impress her. That is the tension my wife provides. Nice and gentle and steady. She will transfer responsibility just like the water transfer pump, which will send me to the grocery store or pick up Chinese, is what she will do. The pump transfers water from the left tank to the right tank and back again, so the weights can fall alternatively. The car and my wife have a gearbox, so the springs unwind slowly, but the output of the spinning shaft attached to the gearbox is fast. My wife's gearboxes are mine churning away. It seems much faster and may not seem to have feelings or logic sometimes. My friend lost his job one time and needed a place to stay, and she was a little funny, if you know what I mean. She is about our well-being, just like Spring Beauty, the car. The only real difference is that my car is a concept, and my wife is not. And I don't know, but if the car breaks, I will call it a bitch. It was the love for my wife that the concept came to mind. I only wish the car comes to fruition. In the 1800s, a man came up with a compression spring-loaded car. It could go 3 miles on a single wind. It looked like a large go-kart. His name was Burdick. With today's technology, I feel we can do better. Most of us just need to make it to work and around town. So, by Brian Thomas Durden, copyright 2022.